What's up, everybody? This is PhillyRon, and over the last couple of days as a Sixers fan, I've been going through a few changes. First, my good friend, I call him friend because I've been down to the game. I met the guy a few different times. Andre Iguodala was traded, but the key thing to this trade was it was the Dwight Howard trade that the news broke, last week, August 10th, which was Friday going into the Saturday, first reported by ESPN, that Dwight Howard was going to the Lakers and Andre Iguodala was also moved somewhere. But in the midst of all that, we heard that Andrew Bynum was coming to Philadelphia. So I know you guys normally know me as the Madden guy, and I normally get in front of people and talk about, Madden tips and tutorials and even some commentary. But one of my good friends on the Yao Sports Network, that's what I'll call us, I'll call us the network, really handles a lot of the NBA stuff, and not just from a video game aspect. He's actually a baller. This man can actually play basketball. He can dribble without double dribbling. A lot of guys get on their own court and start dribbling with both hands. You can't do that. So what I want to do is I want to take a second and introduce you guys. A lot of you may already know, but for those who don't know, I have on the line my good friend Robbie from Two Brothers Gaming. Robbie, say hello to everybody.
What's up, guys? Like Ron said, this is Robbie. We have a major passion for basketball, same way that Ron does for football.
Yeah, and it just so happened that over the weekend, I'm not even going to say over the weekend, on Monday, the Sixers sent me out an email saying, hey, we have a press conference that's going to be open to the public set up for Wednesday. And my immediate thought was, hey, I got to go down there. But in thinking that, I said, I got to go down there and grab some video, and I got to reach out to Robbie because I've seen some of your work, and I know how passionate you are about the game, both 2K or any NBA game that you've already told me before, and as well as the regular basketball. So talk to me about how do you feel about this actual trade? Iguodala's gone. The Sixers actually have a true center now. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's been a while, hasn't it? I mean, back from the days of Moses Malone, Charles Barkley, all the way down to now it's going to be Andrew Bynum. It's going to be the man in Philadelphia. And I got to tell you, as a person that's not necessarily fan of any particular team besides maybe the Thunder, Sixers are looking good this year, and they can't always say that. It's been up and down for them. They've got a chance here to really establish a foundation, and that foundation begins with Andrew Bynum. Last year, he averaged 18.7 points, 11.8 boards, 1.93 blocks, and 55.8% from the field. The field goal percentage mark was fourth in the league. The rebounding was third in the league. What that tells you is that he's an efficient guy, and he's also a good defender and cleaning that glass. That's what the Sixers need more than anything right now. The other opportunity that I really look forward to seeing is how he's going to grow with the 76ers. He has been under the care of the Lakers for about the past 7 years, and really, probably been a little bit in the shadows, and he would get tired of that. You could tell. He was getting yanked from games for pulling three-point stunts. Really a good player, and you could tell that he just wanted to shine and grow on his own. Now he's going to get the perfect opportunity. They just asked him today, you basically said right away you wanted to make this your home, and he said, yeah, I'm looking forward to being here. I don't like to jump around a lot, and I was with the Lakers for 7 years. Said he wants to be in Philadelphia for that long or even longer.
Yes.
So definitely a good opportunity for him. And hey, don't forget about Jason Richardson. He made his way there too. That's a big piece, but Richardson will offset a little bit of that loss of Jody Meeks from the Arc.
Yeah, oh yeah. And one of the things I'm doing right now, a lot of you guys who are used to watching some of the videos that Robbie and Two Brothers Gaming normally do, what you'll see is the game playing in the background. And while you were talking, Robbie, what I was actually playing on the screen is I have the Sixers versus the Knicks because the dynamics of these two teams are pretty crazy when it comes to the fans. What normally happens when I go down to the, I'm a season ticket holder, so when I go down to the Wells Fargo Center, there are 3 games where it's almost like a college atmosphere. One, the main game, all right, is the Boston Celtics. We can't stand Boston, all right, and their fans travel and they're obnoxious, all right. Another team, the Lakers. We know everybody comes out to see the Lakers, and we really can't stand the Lakers. A lot of Philadelphia fans can't stand the Lakers. But the people we hate more than anybody, and the reason why I say they trump the they trump the Celtics is because, one, we can't stand their football teams. We can't stand the Giants. I'm sick of all the Giant fans that live in the South Jersey area, some in Philadelphia, who like to parade around like they have a great team. And then these Knicks fans have the nerve to come down to our building in swarms, all right, and root like crazy for their guys. Now, I understand that they're fans, but at the same time, it just burns me up. So that's why I chose these guys. But what's actually playing in the background is we're seeing the difference in the offense with the changes made. You know, I put Bynum on here. I got Jason Richardson starting. I have not Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown actually was just subbed in off of the bench, but you know, Spencer Hawes is going to be starting at power forward from what everybody is saying right now. So the Sixers last year were a team that ran off of, you know, turnovers. We wanted to get our hands on the ball. We wanted to force turnovers, and that's how we scored our points. Now they're going to transition to a more of a half-court game and, you know, dump it down to your center, and now guys are going to have to make open shots. How do you feel about the you know, the roster makeup, you know, with the Drew Holiday, the Evan Turner, Jason Richardson, and by the way, Evan Turner is supposed to go to the 3 this year and operate more like a point forward, like a Pippen was doing back in the day. So how do you feel that offense, that change in the offensive mindset is going to work for the Sixers?
I think it's going to work really well under the guidance of Doug Collins. If you know anything about him as a player when he played, even as an Olympian, he was an intense guy, and he can get burned out on people. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but as far as the team goes and the makeup of the team, you said it. Now we have a direction here in Philadelphia. The greatest thing about this is, like you said, you can run through the post. Now you've got guys spotting up like Jason Richardson. Evan Turner maybe not so much, but he really came into his own in the playoffs and at the tail end of the season last season. People were calling him a little bit of a bust for a while. He had to get in where he fit in for a little while, and he was not used to playing without the ball. Once he got the guys together, though, oh man, he was hitting the boards. He was playing great offense. He's really got a lot of potential, and you know, now that Iguodala's gone, there's got to be somebody else to step up in that, you know, defensive and offensive small forward spot. That could be him. You know, Richardson, as I mentioned, great deal at spotting up, and he has been quoted as saying, you know, he's not ready to fade into the sunset just yet. He's getting older, but he's really got something to prove. He didn't really do so hot with the Magic, and people really expected him to. He's made the second most three-pointers out of anybody in the league since 2005.
Yeah.
First guy is one of those Celtics boys, Ray Allen, and you know, we won't even talk about them, but you're absolutely right about the rivalry. You're absolutely right about the way that the Sixers are going to play this year. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I like that they have the direction more than anything. They really have something to go off of this year. And, you know, I'm a big Iguodala fan. I'm not going to lie to you. He's talking about signing an extension with the Nuggets and everything. But that defense, they're going to miss it. But they brought in some defense, too. That low-post defense is going to be really good. Yeah. Hall showed some flashes when he was healthy last year, too. So I'm on board with that front line, provided that it stays healthy.
All right. Now, you said something about we're going to talk about Doug, but you also mentioned something as far as alluding to Andrew Bynum becoming a man here. He's played second fiddle to Kobe and Gasol, and he was kind of sheltered out there. So, in this question that, you know, I'm going to ask you, but it was also asked the other day at the press conference. How do you think? Because here's my initial take on this, and the question is, how do you think he's going to be able to react as the man? And for me, I said when the trade first came out, my first thing was, hey, that sounds good, but I was upset that, one, he's not signed longer, and I'm scared that he could just walk away. All right, so that made me a little bit leery about the trade. The other thing is, everybody can look good with the All-Star. All right, when you got Kobe Bryant on your team, that does help you out offensively because that's going to take pressure off of you. Now that you're here and you're in the East, and they're already saying you're the second best center in the league and arguably you could be the first. All right, you could be the best center in the league, but you are the best center in the East. That's what they're saying. So, do you think he's going to be able to live up to that?
I think it's a tough question to answer. I would say provided that he's healthy, he can absolutely do it. It's a matter of him buying into Coach Doug Collins' system and his way of being. If he undertakes, becomes an understudy of Doug Collins and really respects him and respects his game and what he's done and how he can be a teacher, then he's going to do well, and the sky's the limit. If he doesn't, then it could be an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
My thought is, yes, it will work because Bynum knows if he doesn't play well in his contract year, as you alluded to, he's not getting that money. He's not going to go anywhere. His value's going to go through the floor. And he wants a big contract. Everybody does in the league, whether they like to admit it or not. So to me, I think it all depends on if he buys into that system. If he does, which he should, because he's going to be the main man, then I think the sky's the limit. He's got a lot of potential. He's actually having that Olympic-kind treatment on his knees, the same treatment that Kobe went under. And your point about the stuff is a really good one as well. Don't forget Pau Gasol down there. Pau played out a position for him and is one of the best passing big men in there. And when you have a guy that can pass on the other side of the block and he gets doubled up, that leaves a lot of opportunities for Bynum. If they can stretch the floor for Bynum, like the Spurs do for Tim Duncan, for example, then that'll let him operate. If they don't, like I said, you might have a disappointing year. I applaud the 76ers management for rolling the dice a little bit, but I believe it's a calculated gamble. And one of the old sayings in the league is, if you can get a top 5 big man, then you do it.
Yeah. Now, so what do you think are now? Andrew has to adjust to coming out here and being a man. Or do you think there's anything else that could stress him as far as coaching that could lead to him not being as productive? What are some of your concerns when it comes to, Doug Collins and his reputation?
Well, his reputation from back even when he was with the Bulls was that he burnt players out and they tuned him out. There was even a few stories that ran on Yahoo and stuff like that towards the end of last year, kind of the back half of the season for the Sixers. And they were talking about, has Doug Collins lost the team? And that's typical media stuff. Obviously, no offense intended, but a lot of times people will come in and say, "Oh my goodness, what's happening here?" and make a story out of nothing for some bucks, for some print. Honestly, Collins is a great coach. He was a great player. He knows the game. But his problem is, to me, he's burnt some players out, and he really will lean hard on his stars. And he'll have whipping boys on the team, people that he really, really leans hard on. And sometimes they can't take it. Even back to the Bulls days, guys like Horace Grant and, Scottie Pippen even a little bit didn't get along with him. That opened the door for Phil Jackson. Collins went elsewhere, really turned around a nice Pistons team in the mid-'90s and everything there. He's known for turning teams around, not necessarily leading them to the promised land. I think that it's in him. It's just a matter of his players need to have thick skin, and that's the thing that I worry about as far as the dynamic between Bynum and Collins. If Bynum buys in and realizes that this is the opportunity of a lifetime, then the Sixers are going to go far this year. They'll go as far as his sometimes creaky knees can take them.
Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually let Bynum answer that question because, again, that question was posed to him, and I want everybody to have opportunity to hear what he says to it.
Doug has a reputation of being a very stern, strict, demanding coach. Yeah. Have you talked with him? Do you look forward to that?
I haven't gotten an opportunity yet. I'm about to, go over the intricacies of high school style and how things are.
Right.
I've played with Phil Jackson, I guess, would be the closest thing. He's ready to go, kind of demanding, and it's his way of the highway, so to speak. So I'm used to that.
And everybody, what I also want you guys to do is we're going to run a part 2 of this interview, and I want you guys to make sure that you, subscribe to both of our channels. Make sure you like the video. And then for part 2 of this interview, I want you to make sure you head over to Two Brothers Gaming. Click on that link that's in this video details, and listen out for part 2 when me and Robbie talk more about this. All right, everybody, y'all take care.